in addition to just giving you the answers. So here for the homework, some of it might have been a little tricky. Hopefully the first three were okay. And then notice when you get to the absolute value with number 4, your first goal is to get the absolute value by itself. So that's why I added 5 first. And then this is not a distributive property because those are not parentheses. So you have to reverse the operation of timesing 2. That's why I divided by 2. Now we got the absolute value by itself equal to 6. So it either equals 6 or negative 6. And then this is just my method. And so your two solutions would be negative 3 and 9. Okay, and then number 5, that was the more advanced absolute value. So you drop the symbols, write the equation, exactly the same. And then over here, case 2, drop the symbols, and I changed the sign of the 4x plus 1. And then I just solved these equations. Now something interesting happened here. Because if you look at the original equation, the absolute value equals 4 times the x plus 1. So if you put one of these solutions in, if x is negative 10, this is going to become negative 40 plus 1. That means the absolute value equals a negative. So there's an invalid solution. Because the number for x here, if you plug it into the 4 times x plus 1, you're going to get a negative, which means the absolute value equals a negative. So the only solution that actually is valid is the 3 solution. Okay, and then here's 6. It's just a matter of simplifying each side. And then notice you get exactly the same expression. So that means you're going to get negative 9 equals negative 9 when you subtract 5x. So this has infinite solutions, all real numbers of solutions. Here using the distributive property, simplifying, and then you get that. Now someone in another class asked about this, but 10, if this is supposed to have no solution, then C cannot be 5. Because if C was 5, then this would be like number, where was it? Like number 6. If C was 5, then this would have infinite solutions. So as long as C is not negative 5, then there's no way that'll have a solution. And then for 11, if the absolute value equals a negative number, then there's no solutions. Okay? And then this is the more advanced one, absolute value. So you go ahead and drop the symbols, write the same equation. Next, case 2, drop the symbols, change the sign of one of the sides. So I decided to change the sign of the 4x plus 4. And then you just solve these and you get these two solutions. Now you don't have to worry about the issue of excluding a solution like number 5, because number 5 only had one absolute value side. Number 8 has both absolute value. So if you get a negative, since it's going to be absolute value, that'll be okay. Okay. And then 9, distributive property. This might be a little tricky because, you got to multiply a fraction. But 1/3 of 6 is 2, 1/3 of 12 is 4. And then after you do distributive property over here, be careful because a negative has a negative positive. That should be plus 14. And then, oops, the x's are eliminated. And so in the process of solving the variables on both sides or in any problem, the variables are eliminated. 18 does not equal 19, so no solution. Okay, and so notice with 12, I kind of put the number line, right? And so in the middle of the two solutions was 34. And you would have to go 4 to the right and 4 to the left to get to 30 and 38. So the format, the distance from 34, we want to be always 4, whether we go to the left or right. Okay, and then 13, when you solve for the variable w, so I'm getting the 2w by itself and then dividing by 2. Here's your formula. And the picture gave you these numbers. Now the tricky part was C, because they asked for what percentage. All right, and so for the homework, what percentage, this circle is a part of the total rectangle. And the area of a circle is pi r squared. And so what part of the rectangle is the circle? That's the amount out of the total that equals the percent, x over 100. So I took the area of the circle, I put it over the area of the rectangle. and then calculated this. And so it's about 4.8%. So that little circle on the basketball field is only about 4.8% of the total area of the rectangle. Okay, and then this was just like the problem we did with the contractor. The per hour would be the rate that multiplies to the variable. So that's why we did that problem, because I knew that that might be an issue. And so here, when are they the same? Put those two expressions equal to each other, about 2.1. So a little more than 2 hours. And then I made a table, and I went ahead and created the table. So they start at 24 and 45. You can add by 99 if you want on the way up. And over here, since you're going up $89 every hour, you can go ahead and do it that way. Or if you want to replace these numbers for the H, regardless, you can see that the dealership is going to be cheaper before 2.1 hours, whereas the local mechanic's going to be cheaper after 2.1 hours. Okay, and at 15, this doesn't work because, again, the absolute value equals 6 times x. And if 6 times -2 occurs, that means the absolute value is -12. That's impossible. And then the 16, once the variables disappeared in the process of solving a problem, -8 equals -8 means all real numbers are solutions. Okay? So I hope that helps. I know it's a little challenging, you know, if I just give you the solutions here, you know, if you didn't know how to get there. So that's why I do the homework too.